Hey gang, it's your buddy Platt. Today we're continuing on our wine series. We're also continuing on our sub-series on fortified wines. Today we're going to talk about sherry. Sherry is a fortified white wine produced in the Jerez, J-E-R-E-Z, region of Spain. Jerez is a DO, denomination original, or a certified wine region in the far south of Spain in the Andalusia region. Very close to the Rock of Gibraltar. The term sherry itself is kind of an anglicized version of the term Jerez. The English used to refer to them as Jerry's, then it became sherry. Also, at one time, the Moors occupied the land, and they spelled it X-E-R-E-Z, but their X had more of a sh to it. And because the British bought so much of this stuff, it ended up becoming sherry. Sherry itself is a protected term in Europe. The EU protects it, so there's specific labeling and production methods. Here in the U.S., there is such thing as an American sherry. The term is a little loosened up. You'll also see something referred to as cooking sherry, but it is not the same as this style of wine. Something you probably wouldn't want to drink. There are three main grapes in the production of sherry: Palomino, Pedro Jimenez, and Muscatel. Palomino is a workhorse of those three. Roughly 90% of the sherry produced is from Palomino. Pedro Jimenez gets harvested and is allowed to sun dry for a couple days. A little raisiny, concentrates the sugar, and Muscatel itself is a naturally sweet grape. Those two grapes, Pedro Jimenez and Muscatel, get used when they want to sweeten up the style of sherry. Production of sherry, how it differs from port. Port and sherry are probably the two most well-known fortified wines. I just want to kind of differentiate. Port, as we remember, was a red wine produced in Portugal. After the grape pressing, we started fermentation, but shortly into fermentation, grape spirit was added to stop fermentation. Thus, a lot of residual sugar was left over. In sherry, we take white grapes, press them, start fermentation, and we let fermentation complete. And so we get a drier product. That's kind of the simplest way to differentiate the two. Sherry's a more complicated process than port, and we'll get into that. First off, when they harvest the grapes for sherry, they do three pressings. The first pressing is light pressing, and that juice gets used to make Fino and Manzanilla style sherries. Now we'll get into the styles here in a second. Second gets used to make Oloroso and the other style sherries. And then the third pressing, we get just the last bit of juice out of that for economic purposes is why we're doing it. And that juice ends up getting used either to become distilled spirit or may get used to get turned into vinegar. After that juice gets pressed, we start fermentation, let it fully complete. We end up getting a wine that comes out between 11 and 12% alcohol by volume, and it's a dry white wine. At this point, the winemaker will judge the wine, and they will take some to turn into Fino and Manzanilla style sherries, and it gets fortified up to around 15% alcohol by volume. The other juice will then get fortified up to 17.5% alcohol by volume, and that again will get used for other sherries. Speaking of after fermentation and after fortification, then they put it in wooden barrels, and they use something called the Solero system. They have layers of wooden barrels, youngest wine up top, oldest wine the bottom. And they'll fill these barrels around 5/6 full. Now what that does, leave a little air gap. If left just like that or anywhere else, that wine would end up oxidizing because of the oxygen in that barrel, and it would turn brownish, what have you. But what happens in sherry production is you get a layer called flor, and it's a layer of yeast. Now it's a different yeast than the yeast that gets used to produce the wine or that makes beer, cider, what have you. Think of it in a roundabout way as like the difference between a poodle and a pit bull. They're both dogs, but they're different. This is a different type of yeast, and it will form on top of the wine and actually works as a protective layer, prevents the oxidization. Also, its interaction with the wine kind of adds to the flavor. I'm just checking the notes real quick. So like I said, and then they'll end up moving the wine from the top to the bottom, but they do it in a way that does not break that floor. Roughly a third each time, and then they'll take from the bottom the finished product. Let's go over these styles of sherries. First, we have Fino. Fino is the driest, most saline style sherry. Comes in around 15-16% alcohol by volume, and it's best served chill. Next, we have Manzanilla style sherry. Basically, Manzanilla style sherry is sherry produced in a very specific, Fino sherry that's produced in a specific place. San Lucier de Barrameda. It's a coastal town, and just being so close to the coast, it picks up certain things from the air, the environment, the microclimate in there, and the floor, the yeast floor interacts with that in a certain way that creates a specific style. Next, we have Amontillado. Amontillado is, we will get sherry that has the floor broken just a little bit, and that will cause a slight oxidation, a slight browning. You end up getting a nutty flavor from that. Some people also pick up mushroom on the flavor. Next, we have Oloroso style sherry. Now, Oloroso style sherry, that floor is intentionally broken, and the alcohol by volume on this wine gets up to 18-19%. Again, that floor doesn't interact. That style yeast doesn't interact real well at that high of alcohol content. Oloroso can be anywhere from sweet to dry, and because of the higher alcohol content, it ages well. Next, we have a unique style. We have Palo Cortado. Palo Cortado starts off as an Amontillado style sherry, but somehow they're not sure how it happens. The floor gets slightly broken, and it starts to pick up characteristics more of an Oloroso style sherry. Think of it as kind of a hybrid style sherry. Last but not least, we have cream style sherries. These are sweet sherries that have those sweet grapes, the Pedro Jimenez and Muscatel, blended into them. And because they have additional sugar into them, it adds viscosity to the wine, makes it a little thicker. Think of drinking a cocktail with cream in there. It's a thicker style cocktail, thus we have cream sherry. The particular one we're going to try today is a cream sherry. It's Harvey's Bristol Cream. Comes at 17.5% alcohol by volume. It's a blend of Oloroso, Amontillado style sherries, along with those sweet grapes, the Pedro Jimenez and the Muscatel. For myself, this is the first sherry I was ever introduced, and probably for most people, this is the one you'll see. It's that dusty bottle on the back of the bar that the college professor that comes in once a month wants to have a little snit after dinner. Let's give her a try. Oh yeah, that is definitely brown. Looking at that right now, looks like a watered down cola. Let's give her a smell. I definitely pick up the sugar on the nose. Let's give her a try. That's nice. Definite sweetness up front, extra viscosity. Again, because this is a fortified wine, you get a little bit of that warming like you would a big beer. You know, we're a little high. We're at 17.5%. You're going to know the alcohol's there. You do get some slight nut. I get a lot of dark notes. Again, this is not a little bit port-like in the sense, again, it's sweeter. It has those residual sugars. God, it kind of reminds me of bigger wine. Like if I'm drinking a bigger wine, like a bigger Zinfandel or whatever. The mouth feel, it coats the mouth. Yeah, that's nice. Well, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please subscribe down below. Also, please like the video because it lets YouTube know we're putting out good content. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them in the comment section, or you can always contact me on the Twitter page. Till next time, bottoms up.